Hello guys, as it was requested that the initial or the first lecture which I have taken on the hydrocele does not have a very good voice quality, so many of the words are not understandable. So I am recording this again. So first of all we will discuss about the definition of the hydrocele. So the thing is, it is abnormal collection of serous fluid in the processes vaginalis, usually the tunica vaginalis. Now there are certain types you can define. So these are congenital hydrocele and the acquired hydrocele. In acquired type we have primary and the secondary variant. So primary can be idiopathic and secondary can be epididymal or testicular disease leading to a secondary hydrocele. So primarily there is no problem, but yeah, there is some disease which is leading to enlargement of scrotum, that is secondary hydrocele. Now these are four types of hydrocele. You can see in the picture. This is the A picture. It is called as vaginal hydrocele. It is the most common variety of the hydrocele. You can see in this the inguinal canal is the amply or the fully formed, and it does not have any fluid. So the fluid collection is all throughout the around the testis and not going up. So it is called the vaginal hydrocele, the most common variety. You can see the second picture. The fluid is going up to the inguinal canal, but it is not crossing the deep ring. So this type of hydrocele is called as infantile hydrocele. In the third picture, it is a kind of congenital hydrocele in which the fluid is all around the testis, into the inguinal canal, and also communicating with the peritoneum, that is in the abdominal cavity. The last variety is hydrocele of the cord. So there is nothing around the testis, there is nothing above the deep ring, but there is a you can say fluid collection in the inguinal canal below the deep ring but above the testicular region. So that is called as hydrocele of the cord. Now clinical features, you might be finding it very colorful, but yeah, everything in this is important and anything can be asked in the MCQs, and also when you are performing a clinical test on the patient, it can be asked. So it is usually a painless swelling which is transilluminant mostly, and getting up the swelling is usually possible. Fluctuation is present in a patient of hydrocele and there will be no cough impulse, but contrasting feature I have written it as congenital variety. So you can see here it is a hydrocele but it is communicating with the abdominal cavity and there will be cough impulse. Testis and epididymis are not palpated separately, but when the hydrocele is of secondary type they may be palpable. Hydrocele is most commonly occurring in the middle and the later life, but it can also occur in older children. Some books mention that hydrocele is more common in hot countries. The ultrasound scan is necessary to visualize the testis if the hydrocele sac is tense and you are not able to feel the testis, or the primary investigation you can say is ultrasound, as FNAC should be avoided. I will tell you why. Acute hydrocele in a patient who is young may be associated with a testicular tumor, as you are aware that secondary hydrocele may be a result of a primary disease. So hydrocele fluid contain albumin and fibrinogen, that is why it does not clot when we leave it as such, but a blood usually clots, so it is not a product of blood, you can say. Now etiology is mainly of four kinds. There can be excessive production, defective absorption, interference with the lymphatic drainage, and a connection with the peritoneal cavity is a factor for hydrocele. So what is excessive production? When there is a secondary cause like tuberculosis, epidermolysis, there will be fluid collection as a secondary thing to the primary infection. Then there can be defective absorption of the fluid, interference with the lymphatic drainage of the scrotal structure will lead to a hydrocele. Also, by connection with the peritoneal cavity, the peritoneal fluid will trickle up to the base of the scrotum in the tunica vaginalis layer via patent processus vaginalis, that is also called as congenital hydrocele. Now the treatment is, small hydrocele usually do not require treatment when there is no pain or no symptom patient is having. A secondary hydrocele usually resolves when we treat the primary lesion, but obviously if the hydrocele is primary type and there is no secondary cause and it is big enough to bother the patient, the treatment is required. In case of congenital hydrocele, herniaotomy is the best procedure that can be done. Aspiration of hydrocele fluid, but what I'm talking about, the aspiration of hydrocele fluid is one of the treatment options, but in this case the fluid accumulates within a week or so, so this is not very effective, you can say. Injection of sclerosant when we aspirate the fluid or as such may be effective. The example of this is tetracycline, but it is painful. Now the treatment options include surgery also, and the examples are LOTS operation, that is sac is opened and plicated around the testis. I will show you the video also in future lectures. So in this, sac is opened and plicated around the testis. It is suitable when the sac is small and thin walled and there is minimal dissection which is done in this, and the risk of hematoma is less in case of LOTS operation. The second surgery which is done is Jablois procedure. In this, eversion of sac with placement of testis in a pouch, that is after everting the sac is done, and that everted sac with testis is placed into the facial plane of the scrotum. Now some words about individual hydroceles. The congenital hydrocele. In congenital hydrocele, the processus vaginalis is patent and connects with the peritoneal cavity. The communication usually is very small, and hydrocele fluid may drain into the peritoneal cavity when the patient is lying down. So patient may say that he is having intermittent hydrocele. It means that patient is standing, there is a hydrocele, and the patient lies down. After some time the fluid sequestered into the peritoneal cavity and there is no hydrocele. There is an example of encysted hydrocele also. In this, a smooth oval swelling near the spermatic cord is there, and it can be mistaken for inguinal hernia. Now the swelling moves downward and becomes less mobile if testis is pulled gently downwards. A similar condition in female is called as hydrocele of canal of Nuck. In this, what is there is a cyst lies in relation to the round ligament and is always at least partially within the inguinal canal. So it can be a similar condition like encysted hydrocele. Now infantile hydrocele, you have seen that a fluid collection from scrotum to the deep ring is infantile hydrocele. The funicular hydrocele, fluid collection communicating with the peritoneal cavity and coming down up to the testis without involvement of vaginal part, is called as the funicular hydrocele. It just closes above the tunica vaginalis. There is a term called as hydrocele and sac. In this, sac communicates with the extension of the sac underneath anterior abdominal wall, and there will be cross fluctuation when you press the testis, there will be fluctuation felt in abdominal wall, and when you press the abdominal wall you can feel the fluctuation in the scrotum. Now complications of hydrocele are many. Aspiration can result in bleeding into the hydrocele, and this will lead to hematoma formation. There can be scrotal hematoma also, there can be infection, there can be pyocele, and there can be atrophy of testis. So the questions which are usually asked in a patient who is having hydrocele, whether you find a clinical case or in MCQs also, these are hydrocele which is not transilluminant. In this, the sac is thick. So if you are asked about a question like this, give me the example of or when there is no transilluminancy will be present. So you will say when the sac is thick and fluid is not clear, like pyocele or hematocele or chylocele, there will not be any transilluminancy. The causes of secondary hydrocele can be asked, and these are tumor, tuberculosis and filariasis. The differential diagnosis of hydrocele will include epididymal cyst and the spermatocele. And how will you diagnose a patient of hydrocele? If it is asked, do not say FNAC, because you have seen the complication of FNAC can be hematoma formation also, and if there is tumor, it will be seeding of tumor. So the first and foremost investigation that should be done in a patient with hydrocele is ultrasound scrotum. Thank you.